Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Nelson, I think we can start from your end. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Doc. I'm hoping that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Do you want me to just fire away, or you're gonna say something?
I think it's fine. You can fire away. I think you can just you do the usual introductions and fire away if that's okay.
Okay, no problem. Let me just make sure that the screens are showing the way I want them to show. I'm gonna stop the share and then reshare to make sure that it is doing the slide presentation mode. Okay.
Okay, no, great. Or maybe let me just
All right.
as
Anyway, while it is loading, yes, go ahead. Yes.
No, thank you. No, I was just saying, maybe it's just important that I say this maybe at the beginning, in case people log out at the end, so that the message is
Okay.
gotten by everyone. It's just to just say good afternoon to our BDU members, as well as to say good afternoon to our partner from First Sun Alliance. I see Mr. Nelson is here. Mr. Chitate is also there, the audience. First Sun Alliance, as everyone may know, is our insurance partner. They are the ones who assist us with everything to do with insurance. Now, First Sun Alliance again offers financial um this is why I wanted you to do the stuff, but basically just so that you touch on all those aspects that First Sun offers, so that people are aware from the financial part. But what I'm aware of is through our partnership and growth together with First Sun Alliance, they offer BDU members certain services for free, so everyone can access those services through First Sun Alliance, through Mr. Nelson. I think Mr. Nelson will then share his contacts at the end of the presentation, so that those who are interested or who want further clarity can contact him personally. But First Sun again, as First Sun Alliance has agreed to be offering us, and us being BDU and our members, financial talks every month. So we are blessed and honored to have yet another presentation from First Sun Alliance on the psychology of money, more specifically money personalities. So I'll just say over to you, Mr. Nelson, and take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles. I hope I'll be very clear. Hopefully I don't have internet connectivity issues here. Anyway, just to fire away, today we're going to talk about the psychology of money, and we're going to focus on money personalities, as Mr. Charles has said, Dr. Charles has said. And my name is Nelson Letswe, and I'm with First Sun Alliance. And as he said, our MD, Mr. Paul Shitate, is in the group as well. But the whole idea is obviously to... Okay, I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so Hopefully everybody will just turn off their mics so that we don't have any feedback. So if your mic is on, please, you can mute yourself just so that we don't have any feedback coming back to us. So the whole idea today is to talk about the money personalities, and just to introduce the idea of the psychology of money. In the world of finance, one of the things that financial people, financial planners specifically do is to obviously help people with their finances. But it is a science that is based on numbers. But it is recognized more and more that it is important not to just focus on the numbers, but to take into account the personalities and the psychology of the people that we are giving advice to. And so many models have been built over time about the nature of people and how each person's character influence their relationship with money. So one of the first thing to recognize is money does follow the character of its owner. So whatever you are, your money's job is to support you and who you are. And when you focus on, when you understand yourself better, you will understand your money so much more better as well. So that's the first point that we want to make, is that, and there is no right or wrong, and there is no one personality that is better than the other. It is just different personalities. What you have to do is make sure that your personality, you understand your own money personality, and you can take charge of the weaknesses of the personality and strengthen the strengths of the personalities. Because whatever money personality you are, you still have to take care of your responsibilities, which may be, you may be a breadwinner with different kinds of money personalities. Another thing to make about money personalities is to understand that most of us have multiple money personality traits. Okay, you don't have just one type of personality. You have an overlap. You may have one that is more dominant than the others, but more often than not, all of us have multiple money personality traits that we need to be cognizant of, so that we can strengthen the weak ones and make sure that the strong ones that are advantageous for us to have, they help us to be able to run our money in a in a useful way. So despite your personality, you still have to take care of your financial responsibilities. So it is very important to understand that. Now, these are the personalities that I'm going to talk about. Like I said, when you study many people personalities, you'll find that there are many models out there. There's like, sometimes there's the 16 or the 6 or the whatever. If you go out there and you look for personalities, you'll find many. And there's an overlap when it comes to money. So when we talk about money personalities, for us as financial planners, we are focusing on what you do with your money, or how your character or your behavior influences your relationship with money. So we are very much more focused on your relationship with money instead of all other things. And these are the personalities I'm going to talk about today. There's something we call a contemporary, a minimalist, a realist, a shopper, a socialist, and an enterpriser. Those are the 6 personalities that I'm just going to focus on today. So they may be a variance to what you know human personalities to be, but like I said, these we focus on based on your relationship with money. And so if we just go right in and talk about the contemporary, this is a person that we say lives for today. Their focus is not on anything else. So when you just go back and look at this, I'm going to go through all of them. And my way of working through the presentation is to say what the personality is, and to also give the advice as and when I go on each and every one of these personalities. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these personalities? And if you are one of these, what do you need to do to improve the weaker side of it? And what you need to do to strengthen the stronger side of that personality. So when we look at the contemporary, we understand that a contemporary person generally does not enjoy managing their money. This is the person who will not look at their bank statements. They will not, they won't look at their bank statement. They will not, write a budget. They don't really enjoy managing money. Money is just a tool that is there that they want to use, but they don't really want to get involved in managing it. They also, as a result of their unwillingness, rather, to manage their money, you may find that they lack confidence when it comes to financial decisions and decision making. So money is it's a thing they don't really want to think too much about. And these are the
Um, Good afternoon again. Let's just give Mr. Latwini a second or two just to rejoin. I think his internet cut. Thank you.
okay. My apologies about that. I hope we are back on. Can you?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry about that. I think I'm having internet issues here, but I'll work in the background to change my router even while I'm talking. So I'm talking about a contemporary, and this is a person who focuses mostly on living for today instead of living for tomorrow. And they let me see if I can, yeah, there you go. This is where we're at. Okay, they tend to engage in impulsive emotional spending and are giving money away. So the whole idea of a, a contemporary person is focusing on today and not focusing on tomorrow. And so, what is the kind of advice that you would give to somebody like this? If you are that, the most important thing is to learn to increase your financial resilience. And increasing financial resilience has to do with you, not just thinking about today. Because you see, if you think about just today and you spend your money today, when trouble comes, you are very likely to fall into debt. So to be able to avoid that, the important thing is you need to build financial resilience by making sure that you have such things as an emergency fund. And so those people who just live for today, don't think about an emergency fund. It's key to make sure that you build that. And it's also important to learn to say no to some of today's needs. Today is almost always urgent. Today's needs are almost always urgent. Tomorrow's needs are not always urgent. And so the important thing that you need to do is to remember that tomorrow is going to come. And if you just live for today without thinking about tomorrow, the problem that's going to come to you is basically the idea that when tomorrow comes, then you don't have the money. So learn to say no to some of today's problems. Learn to be able to sacrifice. When somebody wants something today, doesn't mean you have to give it to them today. So a contemporary has to think not just about today, but tomorrow as well. And one of the things I say is don't steal from your future self. You must have a plan for tomorrow. Stealing from a future self has to do with people that would even go as far as to basically take away tomorrow as investments. This is a person who might cancel tomorrow's policy that they have saved, to cancel tomorrow's savings for the sake of today's problems. It's absolutely important to not forget that tomorrow is going to come. So stealing from your future self is you have put something for tomorrow, but when trouble comes today, instead of being calm about today, you cancel a policy, you cancel an investment, you take your savings back just to take care of today. This is where you really need to think a little more and think about your mindset. We say work on your money mindset and general financial knowledge, because money must cover the rest of your life. We make money today, not just to live for today, but to live for tomorrow as well. We are employed, and then there's a point where the employment system is going to kick you out and say you must retire. If you don't use today's energies to prepare for the time when the system says you should be retired, you shouldn't be working anymore, then you will find out that you find yourself in trouble. So that is the thing with a contemporary. The next personality is what we call the minimalist or the saver. Now, excuse me. This is a personality, sort of double personality. There can be a minimalist who is not a saver, and there's a minimalist who can be a saver as well. So the minimalist is what we normally refer to as a frugal person or a stingy person, and they are always aware of where money can be wasted. So this is the people who are so aware of their finances and where money can slip through their fingers that they'll turn off the lights when they leave the room. These are the kind of people that make sure that money doesn't go to waste in any way. Okay. Now, they are also the minimalist who's a saver is also very confident with their saving ability, their ability to save money, and they can be very proud of their ability to save money, which is a good thing because it allows you to think about tomorrow. But a minimalist is a kind of saver. If you are a minimalist saver at the same time, you could end up struggling today in order to save money for tomorrow. That is why we call them the penny wise. You save too much today, and today's life gets in trouble. So you're almost like the opposite of the contemporary who only thinks about today. But a minimalist saver is also, you could say, they value simple life, okay? They will score low on materialism. They may not be very materialistic in their nature, but it may be that because they are so focused on their saving, they're very proud of their bank statement. There are those people who just like to see money in their bank account, regardless of the storms of life that are going on right now. So it's absolutely important to look at yourself and say, am I the kind of person who just enjoys looking at the bank statement and what's in the bank statement, regardless of what's going on around me? That is sort of the danger side of this kind of personality, a minimalist who enjoys saving more than living. Okay. Now, the other issues about this person, of course, they are not prone to impulsive or emotional purchases. Sometimes they overthink things. Instead of buying a thing that you need, they will overthink it. That is the kind of personality that you are, that basically you are working with over here. Now, savers are conservative by nature, and it's absolutely important to understand that conservatism is not a bad thing; it's a good thing. But if you mix a saver, if you are a minimalist saver, you struggle today instead of taking the money that you do have to live a little bit today. So the advice that we give to the minimalist saver is your weakness is not always making money work as hard for you as you could. Because you see, because of the fear, they focus on low cost. They will even go for low cost passive investment strategies instead of so this kind of a person, when you say let's invest your money, instead of saying how much will my money grow in this investment, they will ask you what will it cost me to invest in this. They will say to you what is the cost. They would rather see the money in the bank, even though you are trying to tell them that, look, your money is sitting in the bank. It is not going to make as much for you if it's sitting in the bank, but I can put you in another investment. The question is, how safe is that particular investment? So they can overthink things instead of just taking the advice and following through. Ben Franklin actually said, you need to be moderate. This is the kind of people where the correct advice is be moderate in all things, okay? Live for today, think about tomorrow. Don't be so conservative that even when we try to invest your money in things that can grow your money, you are so focused on having that money that you lose out on opportunities for investing. So the advice again is to tune up your savings efforts, okay? And understand that pinching pennies is not enough. While minimizing risk, it's an investor's prime goal. Minimizing risk while maximizing return is the key to investing success. So you may like to see money in the bank account, and we can tell you right away that you're not going to grow as much. You're not going to increase your money as much because the bank, by its nature, it's low risk. It's such low risk. And of course, savers who are not investors love putting money in the bank. Now, if you are a saver, you're not necessarily an investor. You are focusing more on, I don't want to lose. So you are focusing more on conservatism instead of trying to grow a little bit. So a little bit of an opposite of the contemporary. They save, but they are stuck in low investments because they are not going to take any more unnecessary or required risk, not even unnecessary, but required risk to go where you need to go. The next personality here is what we call the shopper. The shoppers are those whose life, basically depend on what we call retail therapy. They are very, very happy when they are out there shopping. Shoppers often develop great emotional satisfaction just from spending money. Spending money it releases some excitement for them. Now, the danger of that is that some of them are even aware of their addiction and concerned about their debt, the kind of debt that is being created by their behavior. That's why we call a shopper a potential debtor as well, because most of the people that get excitement from shopping will shop even with other people's money, which means they end up being debtors. And so it's absolutely important to be aware as a shopper. There's nothing, like we said, there's nothing wrong with being a shopper, but if you are shopping with other people's money, then you might end up in the wrong side of your balance sheet. These are the people that look for bargains and are happy when they find them. Now, this can be obsessive where you are completely always looking for bargains to the neglect of the cost of the bargain. Okay, if you are out there saying, this price of this item is such and such in such a place, but it's 5 pula cheaper 5 kilometers away, and you go there, you don't always think about the cost of chasing the bargains. And so it becomes one of those things that you have to, be moderate. Think about things again. Debtors generally spend more than they earn. If you are a shopper who enjoys shopping, but you end up shopping on other people's money, which means credit card or store cards where you are buying clothing or even food on credit, then you are actually in danger of spending more than what you earn. And it's absolutely important to consider your behavior or your character in that sense. Debtors aren't trying to make statements with their expenditures. They're different from the next kind of character we're going to talk about, which is a socialite. Debtors, socialites obviously live for the society. Shoppers and debtors are not trying to make a statement, but they just enjoy, the idea of shopping, even if it's on debt. That's why we say these are people who believe in retail therapy. When they are down and they are depressed, they go shopping. When the mood is down, they take their purse, they go to the mall and they spend, and they might obviously spend more than what they need to be spending. They might buy more stuff than they need to instead of being a moderate. So the advice of being a moderate that was given to the minimalist may also be applicable to the shopper. Debtor is be very, very careful about that. Okay. So these are the people that don't spend much time thinking about their money, and therefore they don't keep tabs on what they spend and where they spend it. It is just the idea that I'm feeling down, I need to go shopping. And so they do. And if you get to the shops, you don't have money, you take debt and you do it. So they are focusing so much on what they feel or the feel that they get from the activity of shopping. And then they don't always think about anything around them. So these are the kind of personalities that when we give them advice, we focus on try not to spend the money that you don't have, other people's money. If you know you are a shopper and you enjoy shopping and it makes you feel great psychologically, be very, very careful about taking store cards where you're going to buy clothing on debt, where you're going to buy food on debt. Because you see, if you take your credit card and you buy food with it, the food will be out of your system and you'll still be paying for them 6 months down the line. And so you are creating a burden for yourself. Now, one of the advice that we give to shoppers who actually enjoy shopping is, why don't you use that same energy for shopping for consumables to rather shop for investments? Okay, it's a trait that you can learn and say, okay, I get so much excitement from buying, and we say, well, use the same excitement to go buy investments. Would you feel as great when you buy a piece of real estate? Will you feel so great if you buy into a great investment, a great unit trust fund, will you get the same? So if the whole idea and the psychology of how you feel when you shop, we say, instead of stopping it completely, rather than focusing on consumables, try to turn your emotions towards buying for things that will make you feel better in the future and can actually secure your future. So this is where we say you must also learn to use other people's money for investment rather than for consumption. So, and the key word there is learn, because it is not easy to use debt to build wealth. But most shoppers are not trying to use debt to build wealth. They are using debt to feel good. And so the lesson that you need to take if you are this kind of a person is, how do I use the debt for building wealth? And so then, of course, you start learning to go into bigger investments. Instead of changing your character completely from being a shopper, you become a shopper for great things. And if you are so much into taking debt, learn how to use other people's money to your advantage instead of to your disadvantage. And it's also important to learn to invest regularly, because you see, your regular pattern is to shop. But if you don't take that particular character and bring it into investing regularly, then you are not necessarily balancing out, because the expense side is on the expense side, but the savings side is, of course, on the other side of the balance sheet. So if you are a shopper, we say shop for investments. And of course, you might probably still get the same hit or the same emotional satisfaction from shopping for investments than shopping for consumables that are going to get you in big financial problem. Now, the middle of the road guy, we call the realist. This is the budgeter. This is what a lot of people may sort of want to become. The realist is future focused, very conservative with risk, and values money highly. This is a person who really understands the value of money. They are aware of inflation. They know what one pula used to buy before, and they know what it is able to buy today. They calculate everything. They pay close attention to their financial situation. Okay. It's a good thing to be in this kind of position, but obviously all things that are overdone can also be bad. But it's important to know a realist is always realistically calculating what's going on. This is the person who goes shopping with a calculator to make sure that those groceries do not go past the amount that they have set for themselves. Or even as they take stuff and put them in their basket or their trolley, they are calculating. And as soon as they hit that budget, they leave. The grocery store or whatever store they are in at the time. So they are calculators. They live like that. They live on the calculator, and they will stick to their budget no matter what. You can't get this person to deviate from their budget. All right. Now, it's also the most introverted personality. When we look at the socialites, you'll see how extroverted socialites are. But this person is very introverted personality. They don't, basically, when they get in the shop and they take out their calculator, they don't care who's looking at them. They're not doing this for anybody else. They are looking at, this is what I have, this is what I can do, this is what I would like to do. And that is the focus of a realist. Okay. Unlike, they are very unlikely to make impulsive or emotional purchases. They don't do, like we said, they do budget. They don't do emotional or impulsive spending. If it's not on the budget, it is not going to be bought. If it is not, thought about or required, it is not going to be bought. That is a realist. And that is sort of the middle of the road kind of person that, if you are a contemporary, you might want to move here. If you are a minimalist, you might want to move slightly to the middle of the road right here. What is the advice that we would give to a realist? We'll say include tomorrow's reality in your thinking, because you see, realists are so focused on today that it is sometimes difficult to think about tomorrow or to figure out what tomorrow may be able to be included, how to include tomorrow in their systems. So the key is to think about, what is the inflation cost tomorrow? Okay, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? What is needed for me for tomorrow, not just today? Remember, the contemporary, the first person we talked about, the first personality, is the one who thinks about today. The realist may be in danger as well of thinking just about today. And we are saying include tomorrow in your thinking. It is important, build confidence and encouragement to take appropriate investment risk for a realist. Because a realist, similar to a minimalist who might say, what is the cost of this investment? They might always want to take too much information to consider before they make an investment. And of course, when you take risk in investing, some things you will just never know. Okay. A realist must realize that some things you will never know. The future you will never know. If we say invest in this, there are no guarantees, but realists like guarantees. A realist must realize that conservative investment decisions will not lead to prosperity. No one can tell you everything that is going to be. No one could predict that there was going to be COVID and it was going to cause havoc in the investment world. But a realist wants to know everything that is there to know. But this is the advice is, you can't possibly know everything there is to know. That's why risk is the idea of taking on an issue that you cannot really calculate right now and be willing to go. Okay. They don't like making money decisions. Basically, they don't like making decisions that they cannot calculate and see. So if you say invest here, they'll say, what return am I going to get? And if I say to you, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe, I don't know. Nobody can tell the future. It's very easy for them not to want to take that kind of thing. So the advice is be aware that as realistic as you are, the future is unpredictable and you need to be willing to take some of that. So we say because of that, these are the people who will obviously do automation. If you don't want to overthink it, automate it. Okay, know that your child will need education for the future, and automate that. Let the money go there. Realistically, this child is going to grow, and you may not know by how much that money is going to grow, but it's absolutely important to not be stuck in today like a contemporary. Now, the socialite is a person who lives it up today, right here, right now. The socialite is very closely linked to the shopper. Okay, it's an extrovert, more likely to be materialistic than all other personalities. A socialite tends to live for today rather than plan for tomorrow. Now, socialites, we know professions that do focus on the social or the populism, and I'm not picking on our musicians or our sports personalities, but many of us have seen those who are living it really big today on the social platform, and there's a pressure for them to live at that, and therefore they don't make proper investments for tomorrow. A lot of musicians, a lot of sports personalities, by the time they are old, they are very poor because they didn't put the resources to that kind of a lifestyle. Now, it's not just musicians and sports personalities. I'm just picking on them because they do live on the stage and they live big like that. There are many of us who are socialites as well, who might end up struggling tomorrow because we are too focused on pleasing people today instead of thinking clearly about what's going to happen tomorrow. So they may also take on unwise levels of financial risk. They are prone to unwise populist investment. Socialites may fall for scams very easily because someone they know of a high position is involved in this particular thing. So their investment decisions are not based on sound financial fundamentals. They are based on who is also involved in this. These are the people who will say, let's do it because so and so and so and so and so and so is doing it. It is very, very dangerous. Now, you have seen people who have invested their money because other popular people are invested, and all of them may lose money. So it's absolutely important to consider, if you are a socialite, that your investment decisions are not based on who is also involved in that particular investment. Okay. Of course, you being vulnerable to or overextending themselves with consumer debt. Okay, just like the shopper obviously, the shoppers through data focuses on their lives and they want to live their life comfortably, even if it means other people's money. The socialite will live their life not just for their own life, but for the life for other people as well. These are the people who get into the bar and say, all drinks are on me, regardless of other things that they need to be thinking about at home. So they will consume family money to please other people out there. What is the advice we give to the socialite? You need to explore active investment strategies and riskier investment classes, because these people already love risk. They're living on that risk of, I'm gonna, the motto of go big or go home. That is sort of how they live their life. So it's absolutely very important to be very considerate and take calculated risks and build financial resilience in a way that tomorrow you can still live. If we were to give advice to our big socialites, our musicians, our sports personalities, we would say, don't spend your money on bling. spend your money on sampling because you gotta live in that environment, but also make sure that you are taking thoughts for tomorrow and invest in things that perhaps can help you to continue to live a socialite life, but that is only going to happen if you do save money for the future. It's important if you're a socialite to have a financial advisor. Take advice. Bounce your ideas of other non-socialite people, because if you are seeking advice from people who are like you, they will give you advice that says, hey, let's live it up. And so you end up living it up, and then that becomes a big problem for you. So don't forget current and future responsibilities. Socialites can please everybody else and forget about responsibilities. Remember, whatever personality you are, in all of this, you are still responsible. If you are a breadwinner, imagine a breadwinner who's a socialite and see the gaps that can come in there because they're focusing on a big life. And maybe even in the breadwinning, they may want their families to live big, but it becomes a big problem when the money runs out in the morrow. So it could be tenderpreneurs, it could be, and I'm not picking on anybody, okay? I'm just looking at classes of people that may fall into this, and all of us can sort of have this personality. The last personality I'm chasing this time because of time. I think I did lose 3 minutes there when I was off. So the enterpriser or the investor, this is the person we say FIRE there. FIRE is financially independent and retiring early. This is the person who's focusing on financial independence. This is the kind of personality that is very likely to become a millionaire, a billionaire, because they are so focused on building wealth like that. They're financially confident, they're future-oriented planners, they enjoy looking after their finances, and is proud of being money savvy. They read about money, they take a lot of advice about money, and they are very money savvy. That is the enterpriser. They know and they understand that if money is just sitting in the bank, it doesn't grow. And so they will actively look for investment. Their strength includes self-control, okay? Now, self-control is a big thing because you see, a socialite might lack self-control. They don't know where to put the brakes, but the enterprise that the investor knows has a great amount of self-control and will not spend money where they don't need to spend money. Okay, they got financial knowledge and they make their money work for them. All right. So another thing that you think about, an enterprise is unlikely to make impulsive or emotional purchases. Obviously, they think about everything very clearly. Investors tend to seek a day when passive investments will provide sufficient income to cover all of their bills, because they are focusing on that FIRE, F-I-R-E, financially independence and retiring early. They will focus on making sure that they are building wealth today so that they can be able to retire and enjoy the money not in a so distant future, retiring early, not working and slogging all of their life to try to make money. So they think about passive investments. And so this is the personality that, from the realist, basically from the first one where you are a contemporary to the middle of the road where you are a realist to the enterprise, it's sort of the progression. If you're a realist, you want to move towards being an investor or an enterpriser, so that your life can be able to think to be expanded like that. Their actions are driven by careful decision making, and their investments reflect the need to take certain amount of risk. So the saver doesn't like risk. They want to keep money in the bank. The investor understands that you need to take risk if you are going to grow. Okay. And so they don't throw darts. They don't like, hey, let's just throw money in there. They're not big gamblers in that sense, but they are aware that without risk, you're not going to grow your money to the levels that you want to grow them. So the enterpriser is very hard to give a great advice to, accept this. Because of their aspirational approach, viewing money as a priority and a symbol of success, they may pair badly with materialism, causing them to spend money to gain status rather than for value or utility. in the beginning, we talked about the contemporary who is, or the minimalist, who is basically a frugal person. Enterprises tend to be frugal as well. While the minimalist may be stingy, the word might be stingy, the enterpriser might be more of just frugality. Frugality in terms of, I'm aware of where my money should go. I'm aware of where my money should be doing for me. And sometimes they can be very hard on themselves to the point where they don't really enjoy as much as they should. They're too much focused on the future. There are people that have more money in the future than they have today, and they are still worried about the future. Enterprises can benefit from learning about investing and planning for the future. They do that. They think about the future, and it's important to just make sure that life is not just about the future. You can live a little as well. I'm out of time. If you are a contemporary, think of life beyond today. If you are a minimalist, increase your financial knowledge so that you can see and understand that being a minimalist is not going to give you the kind of freedoms that you are requiring or desiring. If you are a realist, you're in the middle of the road, go more right towards the other people, towards growth than just focusing on today. Get rid of fear and include tomorrow's reality in your plans. Shopper or socialite, I put them those together. Get sound advice and use that to your advantage. Don't follow populist investment schemes. Enterpriser, live a little. The future is bright for you. Okay, we would all like to be enterprises, but all of us are on this road. We are one personality or another, or even multiple money personalities resemble all of us are right here. And it's absolutely important just to understand where we are at. Once you determine which of these personality types describe you the most and have put some thought into how you approach money, it's time to see what you can do to make the most of what you have. Making small changes can often yield big results. So what is the next step? Read, understand yourself, read some more, and make sure that in your reading, you're helping yourself to go to set the kind of goals that can be able to help you. So out of time, so I'm just going to stop right there. And thank you very much, Charles. I'll bring back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. We'll just open the floor to anyone who has any questions or any comments from the audience, virtual audience.
Okay, while they're doing that, those are our contacts, my numbers, and that little on the screen there is where you will find my books. That barcode, that QR code is where you'll find some of the books that I have written. So I will stop the sharing now and focus on those that want to ask questions or make comments. Thank you.
I think, Mr. Nelson, you can just touch on some of the services you offer from First Sign Alliance to BDU members so that people are aware.
Okay, perfect. Great. What we do for BDU is obviously this is one of the things that we do, but we First Sun is a composite broker, which means your car insurance, your household insurance, we can take care of that for you. Your life insurance, your retirement planning, if you want to increase those, we have those for you. Your investment planning, we have some relationships with unit trust companies like Tori Capital, Betham, and other companies where we can help you to invest your money. So in a nutshell, we are here to give you a comprehensive financial advice. We can do estate planning for you. We can be able to make sure that your will is all set up. We have companies that we work with as a composite broker. Basically, we have a lot of the services like a one-stop shop kind of thing for you to be able to take your money forward. Even if you want to consolidate your debts, we are able to work with banks and look at, of course, BDU already does have some relationship with the banks like FNB and Stanbic, and we will work with those. to help you in making right decisions about consolidation should you be in that position as well. So what we do offer is a comprehensive financial advisory services that we advise anybody to take advantage of. And for BDU members, we give that service for free. So should you want a consultation, just call and we will give you a free consultation and a free report that can be able to show you where you are at. And we can also help you with making decisions along with that.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Nelson. With that, is there any questions, any comments, anything that anyone has to share? Okay, no, I think everything was clear. I don't see any hands up. I don't see any comments or any questions in the chat box. I think people just were um, relaying how great your presentation was and how much they appreciated. So I'll just take this opportunity again to thank First Sun Alliance for giving us this talk today, and then also to thank the BDU members who were present today. Of course, this session is a recorded session, so we'll make sure to share with those who are here as well as those who are not able to join. So thank you so much, and I guess it's a good day from all of us.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your attention.